And a lot of ways to have fun on a summer weekend in the Poconos, and a lot of folks in town as we get race weekend here in the mountains. NASCAR Sprint Cup Series qualifying at Pocono Raceway just up the road from Lake Harmony, where the folks were enjoying the afternoon on the water. As we get ready to go with our NASCAR Sprint Cup Series time trials, check the championship standings. With 6 races to go until the chase, the man leading the standings is with Mike Massaro.
And that would be your championship leader, Dale Earnhardt Jr. I bet you that sounds pretty good.
Yeah, it sounds great. We're real proud of the results this year and how we've been running. We want to win some more races, and we just need to find a little bit more speed. We're not quite there, but real happy with how things are going and having a good weekend so far here in Pocono.
You know, we think back to June. You had a pretty sporty race car then, led 36 laps. How much of an opportunity do you see this weekend as?
You know, I think that the car's got good speed, and the competition is just going to be really tough. I don't know if we had enough race car to win. Joey was really fast, but we're real happy with the speed the car had then, and it's starting to show that this weekend. So I'm excited about the race. Just hope we can get a good qualifying spot today.
We're going to let you go put your uniform on and get ready for qualifying. Good luck this weekend.
All right, thanks a lot.
All right, Dale Earnhardt Jr. certainly has a shot at the pole, Alan. He was the fastest in happy hour.
Dale Earnhardt Jr., our ESPN in-race reporter for Sunday's Pennsylvania 400. Want to suggest a question for DJ to ask on the pace laps or during the course of competition? ESPN.com's NASCAR page, and the keywords are in-race reporter. Joey was fast is the quote I'll take from Dale Jr. there. Joey was fast. Joey Logano led 49 of 160 laps in the race here back in June. Lost the lead on a restart with 7 to go. Got it back with 4 to go and scored his second NASCAR Sprint Cup Series career win. And a huge day for Joey Logano here at Pocono back in June. Joey Logano joins us now inside our ESPN pit studio as he gets ready to walk out to buckle in to that Home Depot Toyota for qualifying. When you see highlights, I know you said, I saw you on Twitter the other day saying you were watching the tape from the June race. I assume just getting yourself ready for this one. When you go back and you look at a day like that, does it still feel good?
Those are the best ones to watch. I was laughing. I was sitting in my motorhome watching the race tape. I'm like, I know who's going to win this race, so it's going to be a good one. So those are the more fun ones to watch.
Yeah, it's pretty good. How is your car through practice Friday?
I think it's okay. I think we had to work on it a little bit more than we had to the first time we were here. They changed the side skirt rule on us. Obviously, they shortened them up. So it changes up some of the package, changes up the handling. We got the same exact car, but we just had to change up a lot of things. So I felt like we had pretty good speed the first practice. In the second practice, we weren't as fast as we wanted to be. But I don't think we're that bad either. So I still think we got a good shot at it here. We made 2 qualifying runs. In the first one, I about wrecked, and the second one, I was still really loose. So I don't know what I'm going to have here in a few laps on what's going to happen here. So I know Jason, the boys, they tightened me up, so hopefully it was enough, and we'll go out there and try to go for 3 poles in a row here.
Joey, Allen just asked me at the top of our show about the challenge, and the drivers really like this. Now with the repave, what is the new challenge that you found? Although you conquered all of them last time, but what is the challenge now? Is it the speed or the shifting? What is the part?
You know, it's crazy to me to think that we're still shifting, how much faster we're going, but we're shifting just as much as we used to. So that's pretty nuts there. But it's a lot different. I think the setups are way different because you know how bumpy it was here before. Now everyone's just trying to get their their aero platform the best they possibly can get because that's really the biggest deal now. So the setup's way different. Driving it is still similar. Turn 2 is still the tunnel turn, and it's still you got to be on it by this much all the time.
Let me just establish here that the first car is on the track. This is Jason White in the 32, not the driver that was supposed to be in this car for the weekend. It was supposed to be John West Townley making his Sprint Cup Series debut. Had some trouble on his opening lap of practice. Decided he wasn't ready for the Sprint Cup Series and told the team he wanted to wait until he had a chance to test a Cup car. So the team went over to the Camping World Truck Series garage, got Jason White, who they have had in this car before, to drive this weekend here in Pocono. Joey Logano's going to hang with us here for a bit. You're not going out until 38th and has graciously agreed to sit in for just a little while in our session. You were going to say, Andy? I just wanted to establish that story while we watch Jason make his lap.
Well, one question I had for Joey was the way you won that race. I mean, you had the best car, but you found yourself behind and having to get up there and basically move Mark a little bit. And that win meant a lot to your chase chances, but another win will mean even more. Are you willing to do the same thing again?
Yeah, well, I think it's even more important now than it was then to get another win. So we got to do what we got to do again to try to win it. And, this is one of our best opportunities to get one. So knowing we know how to do it, we'll have to do the same thing. And, you know, these restarts here are so crazy. You know, you get such a long straightaway before you even get into one. And, Dale, you know, when cars go side by side and they side draft you, even if you get that jump on the initial start, a lot of times they'll side draft and be in front of you before you get into one. So timing the starts and you know, working the arrow battle into turn one, it's pretty intense before you even get to the corner because you get such a long straightaway.
Well, made for a great race and an exciting finish.
It was a great race for sure.
Was your intention as you went down into one just to maybe loosen Mark up, or I know you eventually touched him just a little bit there, but did you just think you could get to his back bumper without really hitting him and get him loose enough to make the pass then?
Yeah, the intentions was to get right on his back bumper, and that takes so much air off the rear spoilers of these cars and makes them so loose. I knew that was my shot to get him. You know, he made a little mistake off of 3, and I had to run, and I thought I was going to get to the inside of him, and I kind of stalled out, and I wasn't able to get to the inside of him. So I knew I was going to be lined up to him, and this is my best shot to pass him, and tried to get right up on him. And I think he started to get loose, and then that gave me a little extra, and I really got to him. And I was like, oh, you know, and I was so happy he saved it. I was like, oh, shoot. And then I was like, okay, we're all right.
Yeah. Something went wrong for Tony Raines in that 36 on his warm-up lap, and he has coasted back down the pit lane without taking the green flag. So we'll follow up on that and see what's happened there to Raines in a minute. Qualifying just underway here at Pocono Raceway. A quick break and back for the next car. Back live at Pocono Raceway as NASCAR Sprint Cup Series qualifying unfolds on this Saturday morning. What was a sunny morning has now turned overcast, and the temperature right at 79 degrees as the just first few cars have gone under the clock. Scott Riggs ran while we were away in the break, just the one lap for Scott. And you see second fastest of the 4 that have run. The 5th car, Tony Raines, will not make a qualifying attempt. They had a mechanical problem under the hood, and they will not make a time trial effort. The winner here back on June the 10th, Joey Logano, driver of the Home Depot Toyota for Joe Gibbs Racing, is joining us in the pit studio. Not only was he the race winner, he won the pole for that race also. And during the commercial breaks, it's been kind of funny listening to Joey try and decide how this qualifying lap's going to go and just what exactly you're going to have under you when you go screaming off into turn 1.
You never know. That's the tough part about qualifying. You got to barrel it off into 1 like you know what you got, and you know it's going to be the best race car ever. And then when you turn in there, then you really realize, okay, here's what I got. And you got to try to, you know, figure out how to change what you got to do to fix that. So it makes it tough. But, you know, the good thing about here is you do have turn 2 and turn 3 leading up to the green to kind of get a good feel for what your car's doing.
Hey, Joey, to go that much faster on this racetrack, 7 miles per hour over what you ran last August, are you driving the car in the corner any further, or is it just that you have that grip to kind of let it roll, not as much braking, can get back to the gas earlier?
I think the big thing is just letting it roll. You know, I think that's where some of the speed comes. And obviously, you do drive it in a little bit harder because you're always trying to get that little bit more. But, you know, I think a lot of these places, when you qualify, you get your foot off that brake pedal. That just lets the car roll and keeps that minimum speed up through the center of the turn.
Second fastest for David Ruderman on his lap. 173.5 miles an hour. That's still 2 miles an hour slower than Kurt Busch, Doc.
And guys, actually tomorrow is an anniversary of sorts for Kurt Busch, August 5th, the 5-year anniversary of the dominant win here back in 2007, 175 of 200 laps he led. Hey, Kurt, 2 wins, 8 top 3 finishes here. Why are you so good at this place?
Pocono's one of those tracks where you love it or hate it. You'll hear that from most guys. For me, it's kind of like a road course where you have 3 different corners, and you have to compromise a lot here. You just can't be dialed in for one corner. You got to keep all 3 in mind, kind of like a Phoenix or a Darlington.
We talked earlier today about your busy afternoon. Give us your itinerary from right now, heading out to Iowa to run the nationwide race.
You know, I was hoping to post the best lap that I could with our Phoenix Racing Chevy, and I think it was a solid lap, but just missed 1 out of the 3 corners. And then from here, yeah, I'm waiting on a couple other racers. They're going to do their qualifying laps, and then we're headed to Newton, Iowa. So we have plenty of time today. We're going to drive to the airport and then fly into Newton. We're going to qualify the Monster Energy car and then give it a great race tonight. And today, it doesn't matter how good or how bad we do. Today's my birthday, so it's going to be just fine.
I was going to say happy birthday. Have a good day.
Thanks a lot.
By the way, tonight in Iowa, he will drive the same car he drove for Kyle Busch Motorsports that he won with at Richmond earlier in the year, and they're hoping for win number 2.
Doc, thanks. You will see both qualifying and the race for the Nationwide Series on the ESPN networks later, in case I didn't make that clear before.
You're just trying to draw them into qualifying, weren't you?
I think I hadn't finished my coffee yet, honestly. Here's Landon Castle on the track now. BK Racing's 83 machine, Landon from Iowa, and you'll see on both of this team's cars this weekend decals trying to bring attention to the case of two young Iowa cousins who've been missing for nearly 3 weeks. A story that caught Landon's attention, and Elizabeth Collins and Lyric Cook disappeared July 13th while out riding their bikes, and they're hoping to find him and hoping to draw a little attention to the cause. Both Landon and Travis Quapple in this race team.
He's going to like that lap he just ran, 51.67. That's the fastest lap he's run all weekend by a pretty good bit, almost half a second.
Yeah, about a half a second faster than what he had posted yesterday.
If you judge it off Kurt, that's going to be pretty decent. If Kurt had a decent lap, we'll see when some more fast cars get out there.
Yeah, looking at that time that Kurt ran, though, it's a little bit slower than he ran in happy hour. I know they didn't use happy hour to line up the cars for qualifying here, and that's why Kurt went so early, but I expect him to actually maybe run a little quicker. The track conditions look pretty good to me.
Yeah, not going to get to your pole winning speed by any chance here, I don't believe, from back in June. It doesn't look like. The track just lost a little bit of grip.
I hope so. I like holding the track record. I want to keep it. I want to hold that on for a long time. You know, Casey Kane held it here for a long time, so I wouldn't mind having that for a while. That'd be cool.
Travis Quapple in the other BK Racing machine.
Up the racetrack there.
Yeah, had a little trouble there.
There's a lot of things going on in every one of these turns when you're shifting. You know, it's you're right in the center of the turn, and you're trying to take your hand off the steering wheel and grab a downshift in the middle of all that. It makes it very tricky. And you see a lot of people do it different ways. Some people grab the downshift right before they go to the gas. Some people grab it a little earlier going into the turn.
That car was kind of walking up off of the tunnel turn there for him.
Yeah, I was talking to a driver yesterday, Joey, that was telling me that if you shifted where you really felt like you needed to, it's almost too late because you're back in the gas so soon in these corners.
Yeah, it's a timing thing. Yeah. You know, if you do it too early, you're going to overrev your motor. So you got to wait till you get down in the corner. But as you're getting down in the corner, you want both hands on the wheel here. You don't really want to take your hands off, but eventually you get comfortable doing it.
Now, Travis probably be a little disappointed with that lap. That is going to be 5th out of 8, 52-55, compared to Kurt Busch's 51-32. And there's the back deck of Landon Castle's car, and they're trying to help find those two young women. And we hope that maybe the publicity that they'll help generate this weekend makes that a reality. Let's check with Mike Massaro. Michael?
And catching up with Paul Menard, and his weekend got off to a bit of a challenging start, I would say, in practice yesterday. Well, what happened?
I was still trying to figure it out. Best we can tell, our radiator hose blew out, and obviously the right front tire got soaked in the water and just couldn't get woed out. But you know, luckily we had a 2-hour window between practices. The guys rolled out the backup car that we tested for 2 days here in June, and it seems like it's okay. It's pretty decent. Just kind of got behind the 8 ball a little bit with all that, but I think we'll still be okay.
As you say, behind the 8 ball, what are you expecting when you go out here for qualifying in this backup car?
Well, I mean, we did one mock run at the end of second practice, and the car drove good. Ran a 51.40, I think. I know it can get more. Yeah, I don't know. That track's a little bit cooler than I think it was yesterday. The sun's coming out now, so I'm glad we're going out on the early side and see how it goes.
All right, best of luck, Paul.
Thank you.
Paul Menard.
That was a hard hit that Paul took yesterday, as you saw it. J.J. Yaley on the track, a big hit, but glad to see he's okay, and they had some time to get that backup car out there.
Yeah, with the pressures they run in these systems, these cooling systems, it puts that radiator hose into a lot of stress, and it's not a no-brainer to make that work. And when it comes off, boy, it can make a mess.
You know, when we see those type hits right there, we kind of take them for granted now because of the safety issues with these cars, how great they are, and the safer barriers, Joey. I mean, it's still a hard hit, though.
It still hurts, but I could imagine back in the day with, you know, seats that aren't as nice as ours, and you know, obviously without the safer barrier and all, it's got to. It still hurts, but I can imagine back then he may not be qualifying today.
Yeah. 5th fastest for J.J. Yaley, behind Kurt Busch and Landon Castle, who's with Doc.
Landon, I know you're excited about a great run, a half a second faster than what you had run in practice, but I know you're really excited about what you're carrying on that rear deck, being an Iowa native trying to draw attention to two missing cousins.
Yeah, it's really a sad story. These two girls are missing, and we're just going to try to get them home and get the awareness out there. So we've got pictures of them on the back of the car, which I'm sure you guys have seen, and just trying to get their name out there so that we can somehow find these girls.
I know that's the big purpose for the weekend. But what about you guys? I mean, this car better than you thought it was going to be in qualifying?
I think so. I mean, you know, we kind of chased our tails yesterday a little bit, and in the first chance we had last night to sit down and talk about it, Doug and I talked on the phone for 30 minutes last night, just trying to dissect the whole day and comparing it to the first time we were at Pocono. So, you know, we put down a good lap here, and you know, when it's time to bring it, I guess that's when you got to bring it. So hopefully it turns out all right, and we can, you know, get 400 miles in tomorrow.
Good luck this weekend.
Hey, thanks.
Landon Castle, Alan.
All right, Doc, thanks. Castle's second behind Kurt Busch right now. 9 cars into qualifying, and here's Reed Sorensen, who also had some troubles in turn 1.
Joey, you get outside that groove just a little bit, like those right sides. No grip there.
It's ice. It's ice. But it is better than what it was the first time we came here. And you get the groove is wider than what it was. So I think everyone remembers the first lap of the first race here when we all went into the first corner and we were sliding up the racetrack and all over the place. I don't think it's going to be as bad, especially with the truck race.
Reed Sorensen to the checkers, or the white flag, the end of his first lap, but everybody's just taken 1 lap. And a 52.76 for Reed, 7th out of 10, as we're still very early in the going. It's Sprint Cup Series qualifying at the Tricky Triangle in Pocono. Got a new leader in qualifying at Pocono Raceway. It is that car and that driver, Juan Pablo Montoya, has just gone to the top of the board.
Yeah, about 2/10 quicker than what Kurt Busch was able to put down, 51.12.
He hasn't had a pole since April of 11. April of 11 at Richmond. So if that would hold up,
It's been a pretty good track for Juan Pablo over the years, so would not surprise anyone if he showed up toward the front of the pack on Sunday.
They need some good things to happen. Paul Menard just finishing up. Second quickest.
In the backup car at a 51.24.
Up about 2.5 tenths over what he ran there yesterday.
yeah, he said he ran that 40, but he thought he had some more left, and he did. He had a couple tenths.
You know, we talked a ton in our coverage of qualifying from Indianapolis last Saturday about the weather and the track temperature. We do have clouds moving in and out here at Pocono today. This racetrack not known to be as sensitive as Indy is to the weather, but still every track is sensitive some to the weather.
Yeah, anytime that it starts heating up, you're just going to lose a little bit of grip. And these cars that are going later on, but there's a lot of clouds around, so I don't really foresee the sun staying out for an extended period of time.
As you can see from that shot, too, it's kind of dependent on where you take that reading. If you took it right here, it's going to be hot, obviously, because the sun's really beating down on the track. But then in turn 1, there's some shade, so that's going to be a moving target.
We think this is a driver and team that may have tried to play with the times and get an early start here yesterday, which there's nothing wrong. There's nothing illegal about it whatsoever. It's just how you decide to go about it, trying to, with this early draw, thinking that they could get out when the track was still a little bit cool, but actually might have worked against them with the time that the sun was out.
You just never know, do you?
You
Yes,
never
you
know.
don't know.
He's got a good lap going, though.
But you give it your best effort. That's what they thought they needed to do to maximize their opportunities at getting a starting position up front.
Denny Hamlin, in his first 2 races at this most unique of racetracks, started on the pole and won the race. And both of his first 2 tries here. And he's got a good one going.
Yeah, good corner there. Turn 2. Really picked up a lot of time right there. See if he can get off of turn 3. Struggling just a little bit.
Yeah, he's losing time to Montoya. Not gonna be able to beat Montoya. Just a couple of hundred slower.
Well, that was an interesting looking graph, wasn't it, compared to Montoya's lap? So Denny Hamlin will be second to Juan Pablo Montoya. Who's with Doc?
Yeah, outstanding lap for Juan Pablo Montoya. Denny Hamlin couldn't beat you. 51.124. Great lap, Juan.
It's okay. You know, our Target Chevy has been pretty good this week. We've done a lot of work on the cars lately. I don't think it's going to hold up or anywhere, but just I don't know. We're work in progress.
Hey, this has been your best oval track. You had a second place finish a few years ago. How confident are you that this is the weekend you guys turn things around?
I don't think this is one of our better tracks, to be honest with you. I actually talked to Chip yesterday and I said, part of the problem, it's me here. I'm not very good here.
All right, well, good luck Sunday.
Thank you.
Juan Pablo Montoya right now, though, atop the speed charts.
I might disagree with Juan, but based on Indianapolis would be the one where he's been the best, I think.
Yeah, and he's run good at Atlanta too, but I think part of it is because his road course experience that helps him here.
Jeff Gordon out on the pit lane signing some autographs for the fans as he waits his turn in NASCAR Sprint Cup Series qualifying. Much success here at Pocono Raceway. Could use a win, certainly, to have any shot at getting himself into the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup. David Gilliland has just finished his lap on the clock, 8th quickest, 173.4 miles an hour. And now Jeff Burton is on the track in the 31.
Certainly been a struggle for Jeff Burton and this team for the majority of the year. Shown times to have some speed in the race car, but just can't seem to put it all together.
New sponsor for Jeff and this 31 team this week here at Pocono, and to be 6th quickest for that Chevrolet. 51.74 for Jeff. That's about 173.9 miles an hour. Ryan Newman got anything for the poll, Mike?
Oh, well, let's pop our head in here and ask. Alan wants to know if you got anything for the poll today.
For a little bit. I think our car is pretty good. Haas Automation Chevrolet it's driving pretty good. Just seems like it's a little off speed-wise. So we'll see how we shake up. We made a couple more small changes, but really important to get a good starting spot and good track position, so we don't want to try too much right now.
We're curious. As the weather changes, the clouds come over, the sun is sometimes in turn 1, sometimes in turn 2, sometimes in turn 3. Is there a particular area of this racetrack where it's worse to have the sun beating on it?
Unfortunately, you can't wait for the clouds in every corner, otherwise you'll run a 5-minute lap. But you just have to go out there and do the best you can. You kind of get an idea where it's at when you take off, but you got to go for broke no matter what. It's all about getting all you can when you can.
All right, we'll let you get digging.
All right, thanks.
Ryan Newman.
And Ryan's boss, Tony Stewart, making his way up the grid.
Smoke probably just got up. He was out late last night winning another sprint car race, his 4th in a row.
In a little over a week's time, right?
Yes, since last Saturday when we talked about last Sunday that he had won. Yep. He won Monday. He won a World of Outlaws event Tuesday in Canada, and then won again last night, Williams Grove.
Famous sprint car venue, just not all that far from here at Pocono Raceway.
And if that's not enough, he's going to go race again tonight.
What a shock. Yeah. Marcos Ambrose had a little bob and weave going in the tail of that 9 car in the previous corner.
Pretty solid lap, though.
It will be. That'll be 4th fastest for the moment. And a 51.30 for Ambrose. That is 175.4 miles an hour. Well, we saw Jeff Gordon signing the autographs. Now let's hear from him, Mike.
There's a reason he signs all those autographs. He's won quite a few races. In fact, 5 of them right here at Pocono. What do you got this weekend?
And there's a lot of big NASCAR fans here in Pocono, so we appreciate them. Our drive to Hunger Chevrolet was kind of back and forth on balance yesterday in race trim, but it was pretty good in qualifying trim. So, going out a little bit earlier than we did the last time we were here. Hopefully we catch one of these clouds and lay down a good lap.
Very curious. In June, a couple of different variables here at Pocono, the repave and the shorter race. How did that factor into the strategy and how it played out in June?
Well, I was really interested on how this new surface reacted in the race. There was a little bit of fall off, even though we didn't see a lot of tire wear. The track, you had to drive the car. It started getting loose getting in, and you could get the car out of shape. And I think it made for a better race than what we anticipated with a new repave. So I'm only anticipating that getting better this second time around.
We'll let you go.
Thank you.
Jeff Gordon looking for a very big win. Still needs at least one, probably 2 in order to make the chase here. He's got 6 races to do it here in the regular season, Alan.
And Jeff Gordon, a big day for Jeff as well, besides trying to win pole position here at Pocono. Jeff's 41 years old today.
A lot of birthdays today.
Yeah. Jamie McMurray on track.
Trying to grab the top spot away from his teammate here. Finished 10th here back in June, one of only 3 top 10s for this team for the year.
Drove it down in turn 1. Looked like the track didn't have quite as much grip as he anticipated.
I think what we're really seeing is we see him lose some time to Montoya's time. Turn 3 was a really good one for Juan Pablo because everybody seems to be losing it there. Jamie going to end up 6th.
Yeah, turn 3 was good for Juan Pablo, but not good at all for Jamie McMurray. A lot of drivers yet to come, including the man who won this race a year ago, but he's in a lot better shape entering the race this time, Mike.
That's for sure. Brad Keselowski does not have a broken foot like you did a year ago. Physically, it seems like you're in better shape coming into this race, but how's the race car?
You know, I think at the very end of practice, we got it to where it's very competitive. I think it's as good as what we had here last fall. So, you know, if we just put together a whole race, we got a shot of a strong run, if not another win, and that would really be, you know, great for our team. Obviously, a win's always good, but, you know, now that Jimmy and Tony got 3 wins, we're all kind of tied at the top for the point standings when the chase was set. So we all want to get that one extra win and have those bragging rights going to the chase. So we're going to shoot real hard for that, and there's no letting up from the 2 team.
You know, it's our job as we get closer to the chase to kind of handicap this thing, and you mentioned 3 guys there, all very strong. How do you separate the competition as you look forward to the chase?
Well, I think you look at teams that are really versatile and that have a lot of speed, and then it comes down to being able to execute from there. I think our team is doing a great job of executing. We've been kind of up and down as far as the speed that we've had throughout the course of the season, and I think we're on an upswing. So, you know, once you get to the chase, you kind of look at those few weeks right before it to see who's got speed and who doesn't, and hopefully we'll be one of those teams.
We'll see if you got speed here in Pocono. You got to strap yourself into the race car shortly.
I'm ready, thank you.
Brad Keselowski ready to go, Alan.
Defending winner here at Pocono of this race as we watch Tony Stewart on the racetrack.
Yeah, I watched them yesterday as they were running race runs, and they were making some changes and seemed like they found something towards the end before they switched over to make a mock qualifying effort. And Tony seemed to be pretty happy with his race car and race trim. Don't know he's going to be real happy with this lap, though.
Yeah, he better have a good setup for running in traffic and making passes to try to get up front. He's got a lot of cars to pass.
He started 22nd in June. He finished 3rd. So it would not be an unfamiliar pattern, and this might be what cost Tony Stewart was coming to the green flag.
Yep, it's not what you want. See a little bit on the loose side there, off of that turn 3, and kind of hurts your entire lap.
Well, it hurts your confidence in your race car, too, for the rest of the lap.
Yeah.
See that car a little different looking than normal. A back-to-school paint scheme for Tony Stewart and his sponsors. You don't just slap another coat of paint on these race cars these days. You wrap them.
I thought it took a lot longer than this, but hey, that's a good job.
That's pretty quick. Yeah. That really does look nice. That's a nice job they did there. I was down there yesterday talking to Tony and his crew.
Is it already back to school time?
It is. My son starts school next Tuesday, so
it's unbelievable, isn't it? So Smoke with the 14th fastest lap for the moment in car 14. And here is Jeff Gordon. 5-time Pocono winner, 4-time Sprint Cup champion. You know, he was one of many who got busted for speeding on pit road in the June race here. There were 22 pit road speeding penalties in that June race. With the reconstruction of the pit lane, some of the timelines were in different places than they had been before, and maybe not everybody had everything completely figured out. There was one short zone at the end of pit road that caught a lot of guys.
Yeah, you kind of get in a rhythm at these tracks, and you kind of count on things being a certain way and done it for so long. And here at Pocono, a lot of teams did get caught off guard with that, with those new timing lines.
Whoa, whoa,
God,
got the wall
there. Yeah.
I was going to say, let's see how he fares against Montoya. In turn 3, he was pretty close on time until the exit of turn 2.
I was going to say, just to finish up that story, despite the pit road speeding penalty, Gordon had worked himself back into contention for the win, and they got on the wrong strategy to what turned out to be the winning strategy. Circumstances fell a different way. It might have been the winning strategy, but it fell the opposite way for them, and they ended up finishing 19th.
We thought he hit the wall, but I think he may have missed it.
Yeah, we saw
a lot of dust.
Yeah. You and I saw the same thing, which is this smoke flying we're going to see right here.
That makes you think that there's a little bit of contact. See if we can get a better angle at it right here. He was out of shape for sure.
I don't think he hit it.
Wow.
How did he miss it?
He's just that good.
Not
He
by
won
much.
4 championships, but not being able to drive.
Well, that's how he did it.
Yeah. He was dusting off an area that few dare tread on. So Jeff Gordon, 14th out of 27. Mark Martin nearly won here back in June, Mike, but he finished second again.
Yeah, he's nearly won here quite a few times. I think 7 times. Is this the week you finally get to victory lane in Pocono?
I don't know. We were pretty close last time, and these guys do a great job. Aaron's Dream Machine's always fast, so we've got a great race team here, great crew on pit road, and we're having some fun.
You've gotten it done in qualifying several times already this year. What do you have for qualifying here?
I don't expect to get the pole, but we'll take it if we get the magic lap. You know, we weren't as strong yesterday as we have been. We were last time here, but we made gains on it, and we've got a great team, and we'll see what we can do.
And something that bodes pretty well for Mark. It looks like the cloud cover is thickening up right now. It might be cooling down. Might be playing right into his wheelhouse.
He'll take it if he can get it.
Yeah, every time I ever heard Mark Martin when I was driving, he'd say, I'm not sure we'll get the pole. He usually beat us pretty bad.
Heard from Ryan Newman a minute ago. Watching Ryan Newman now.
Solid right now. See if he can get off at turn 2. Set him up for a good run at turn 3, which is, as you mentioned earlier.
Got it going to the corner. Here it is.
Yeah.
A lot of shade down there.
Spinning the wrong way.
Yep.
Yeah, we're seeing that's where Montoya is good. On the exit, it seems that's where everybody they can get down to the center of the corner with him, but Montoya apparently was in the gas hard. That's going to be a good lap. 6th quickest so far.
You know, we're talking about whether or not Jeff Gordon scraped the wall. Upon further review, just the slightest of scrapes on the right rear.
Well, he did hit it. That's minimal, though.
Yeah. Great save.
Could have been a lot worse.
Championship leader in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series, Dale Earnhardt Jr. climbing aboard his machine, one of the 9 drivers left to run in NASCAR Sprint Cup Series qualifying here at Pocono Raceway, getting ready for tomorrow's Pennsylvania 400.
I think it's the biggest threat I have right now. You know? He was quick yesterday. I mean, like, seriously quick.
Casey Mears, 20th fastest on his lap out of 35, 172 miles an hour and change. Juan Pablo Montoya is atop the board and in the pit studio with us as we watch these final cars run out. Been talking so much about, as the cars have run since your lap, about turn 3 and how they've compared to your car in turn 3. And each one, as it seems to go, turn 3, the curve goes down.
We're just talking about that on the break. You know, turn 3 is really important. You got to get up to speed good, and you got to finish the lap good. You know that corner, it's one of the key. Here. You know, turn 2. Like for me, I was saying earlier, I think turn 2 is the hardest one for me to get it right. It's like it's always either I hit it perfect or I missed it complete. There's no happy medium there.
For those people that talk about this being somewhat similar to road course racing, no, okay. I didn't think so either. I won 3 times here and I couldn't drive a road course. So
Same thing. They say that if you're good in Indy, you're good here. I feel that I'm really good in Indy, and normally this has never been a good track for me. So we'll see. I'm just hoping that it gets hotter and hotter so the truck slows down.
Here's Mark Martin.
This guy's pretty good here. Hasn't ever won. This is the most amazing thing. He's finished second 7 times, but has never been to victory lane here.
7 times?
7 times.
That's the record for most second place finishes at a single track that you haven't won at.
Wow.
He's loose.
Yeah, it didn't look like he quite got to the bottom there. You would get there if you could turn it down, right? We know he's going to lose more time from this point forward to the pole time.
Oh, I did good.
You did good,
Talk about this not one of your best tracks.
I know. It's one lap, and I still got 200 or something, 160,
yeah, just
whatever.
160 now.
160 now, yeah.
11th for Mark Martin.
From where you're going to start, though, it's going to make the race a lot easier for your team, isn't it?
Oh,
Up front.
Yes.
I mean, just being in the top 10 would be a great starting
Yeah,
spot.
for us, it's been every week, to be honest with you. When we qualify half decent, we qualified, 25th? So now, getting a top 10 start is gonna, it's gonna look a little different.
Juan Pablo says Dale Earnhardt Jr. might be his biggest competition. Jimmy Johnson still hanging out there too, Mike. He's getting ready to buckle in.
Yeah, Jimmy Johnson put a whooping on him last week at the Brickyard. How much crossover do you expect here at Pocono? A lot of people say this track's quite similar.
Yeah, there's some crossover for sure. I feel like we had an amazing car in Indy, and we've got a really good car here. I think what we had working in Indy was clearly something special. And although I feel we're very competitive here, I guess the feeling from last week and how good that car was is hard to forget about. But very proud of the effort that all of Hendrick Motorsports has put in. We've been fine-tuning our package for some time now, and it's really paying off. So excited to get this slowest car on track and hopefully get a good lap today.
I would say you know a thing or two about what it takes to win the chase and where you need to be heading into it. Performance-wise, how much momentum do you feel like you have now as we get close to the close of the regular season?
I feel there's a lot. The restrictor plate stuff has been tough on the 48 team. Those tracks have our 3 DNFs. But outside of that, we finished in the top 10 a lot, have led a lot of laps, collected a lot of points. So for what the chase really involves, from a track standpoint, I feel we're close, and we can always be better, and we'll always, try to be better and work harder. But I feel like we're, at the end, going through the middle of the summer, heading to the end of it, we're in good shape right now.
And Jimmy Johnson, a threat for the pole this afternoon, but also a pretty good run going on now, Alan.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. until turn 2, and he lost some time there.
He had me really worried, to be honest. I think he was the biggest threat. I'm sure, there's a few guys. I think the 18, 48 still to go. Those two run really well here as well. But
again, this car is loose. You saw how loose he was through most of the corners. I think your car being tight was a big-time advantage.
Yeah, maybe it paid off.
Juan Pablo Montoya, driver of the Target Chevy for Chip Ganassi Racing. You couldn't see because we were watching the car on the racetrack, but when Dale, that's exactly what he did. When Dale Earnhardt Jr. had that wiggle off too, he went,
yeah. This is big for us.
Yeah, you're competitive, and you talked about having a new crew chief. Chris Heroy was with Hendrick Motorsports. His first time as a Sprint Cup Series crew chief, first time as a crew chief aside of a limited number of nationwide series races. And you talked about earlier this weekend how you're trying to build something, but your starting point to build it was a little further off.
Yeah, it was hard because we not only changed the crew chief, we changed mechanics. And I'll tell you, the group of guys we have right now that work so hard and they're so good, engineers, everything changed. So everybody walked into what we had, and, we're just changing everything. It's a big process. And, for us, it's great. We have two, Jamie and myself, we got great sponsors, Target. They have Bass Pro Shop. We got McDonald's. There's a lot of good sponsors involved with us. So I think for us to run well is really, really important.
How great is this, though? As we sit here and watch your reaction to this, a Formula One winner, Indianapolis 500 winner, and here the guy is excited that he's beating this. Yeah, that just shows how much. Yeah,
it's amazing. People don't realize how hard you gotta work to run well here, and how hard my guys have been working. It's frustrating when you work that hard and you go to the racetrack and nothing happens. So it's been a tough year for us, for the whole organization. But I think. And we always said it with Jamie, there's things coming. There's light at the end of the tunnel. And he's still loose. Another one.
Whole winner from the previous race here in June.
Track record
got him handled.
That's not going to get any better.
And nobody can run with you off turn 3.
Yeah, and actually, Denny Hamlin, weren't able to see it, but Hamlin was actually a little bit ahead of you as he exited turn 2, but you really beat him in turn 3.
I'll take it.
So Casey Kane, 4th out of 39. And
you see, the problem, even the track is hotter than when I ran. I think it should be a little bit hotter. They're getting there, you know what I mean? He's 4th, it's not like they're, few guys are being like, 15s and things like that. The next few guys are guys that really have a chance of beating me. So.
And as we turn around and look out the window behind us, this whole front straightaway is covered by cloud cover.
I know, that's not good.
Except the straightaway doesn't matter that much, right? So
exactly.
You'll take that as long as one of these corners has some sun on it.
I'll take sun in turn 3.
There's your track temperature.
Yeah, it's come back down to the start of the qualifying. The air temperature's up just a little.
Well, that makes it interesting.
And all that is really kind of predicated on where that reading has taken. If it's in the sun or if it's on the straightaway, like we said, it doesn't matter that much. You can't really get a temperature of the whole track.
Right.
We can only take it at one spot.
And this is a big piece of property.
It is.
It's 2.5 miles. A lot of room out there. Jimmy, time to start buckling in because we have just 5 final cars to go here at Pocono. Looking ahead beyond Sunday's race, Watkins Glen is next week.
You know, there's actually the next few racetracks are really good racetracks for us. I think we can build a lot of momentum. There's a lot of new, things going into the car. So there's a lot of little changes going into the car. We're really looking at everything right now, and there's a lot of testing coming for us. So I think the next few weeks, our real plan is make sure by the end of this year, we know exactly what we want to have for next year. You know what I mean? We really gotta focus. You cannot be at the end of the year and wondering, do we need to have a little stiffness here? Do we need to run? We really gotta know first of all, what the car wants. And I think my relationship with Sunshine, I call him Sunshine. It's clear. He knows when I say something, what it means, and I think that's one of the key things.
Let's see how fast the Fords are. Biffle, Kenseth, and Edwards all to be among these final 5 drivers to go.
Just in looking at these drivers left to go, you think about Biffle and Edwards and even Jimmy. They really like to run their car on the edge. I would think that this track's being a little slicker could work against them, but Kenseth is one that a lot of times is on the tighter side a little bit.
Yes, I think he's the one that is a little more conservative. The other guys, when there's a lot of grip and the car is way out there, they're really same as Mark Martin. Yeah. There's guys when the car it's sideways, they're happy. They don't like when the car pushes, and I feel I'm the other way. I'm a guy that I don't like half throttle. I like getting on the gas like mean. You don't want to be. Oh yeah, no. That's like.
Well, Biffle's going to be 10th out of 40. 4 to go.
That's a top 5 start right there.
Yes, sir.
And it's looking better.
Down. We're getting right down to it.
I know. And I'll tell you, my biggest concern, to be honest with you, was Dale. He was so good yesterday.
Yeah, and he seemed to be really
pretty good as well.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah, Juan Pablo Montoya currently atop the standings in NASCAR Sprint Cup Series qualifying. Kind enough to come up and join us for a while and just waiting and watching to see whether he winds up with pole position for Sunday's Pennsylvania 400. Even at 100 miles shorter than it had been in past years, this is still a long, tough race behind the wheel. Agree?
It is hard. I think it's really hard in traffic. This place, you'd be amazed. That's, I would say, similar to Indy. Indy, when you have clean car handles really well. You get back in traffic and it doesn't turn well, it doesn't brake, it doesn't do anything well. So I think it's a key thing, having track position, and I think that's big for us.
Green flag for Matt Kenseth, and his lap is underway. And we were talking earlier about the restarts and how insane and crazy the restarts can be, especially in the late laps here.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that, and having to shift in all 3 corners is what the majority of guys doing. Is that making it even more exciting?
I'll tell you the truth, the shifting is not too bad. These gearboxes, I know it's only a 4-speed gearbox, and you really got to be focused on it. You really got to focus and not over rev it, the engine. I think that's one of the key factors. It's kind of weird with qualifying trim, through the tunnel you don't downshift. Everywhere else you downshift, and race trim I downshift everywhere I can.
I think you've dodged another one here.
Yeah, this thing might happen for you. Can you remember the last pole you got?
No.
It was in Richmond.
In Richmond? Wow.
11.
Yeah, I know. This year, this year when we break up 20, it's like a celebration,
That'll be 7th for Matt Kenseth at a 51.37.
The next 3 cars are tough.
No grip at all.
I agree with him.
No grip at all. Well, Carl and Kyle and Jimmy won't be listening to that because they'll be buckled in.
I know.
Isn't that amazing? When you were here the first time, the drivers talked about all the grip that you had, and now
there's nothing.
You're talking about no grip.
I know, it's crazy.
And by the way, just going back and researched the temperatures, it's about the same temperature as it was here for qualifying for the June race.
I know. I think the fresh asphalt last time, it was a big thing. And, you got to remember here in the summer, when the truck sits on the sun for a long time, it really hurts it. And I think the pavement was really fresh last time we were here.
And those 400 miles, too, they wear down. I mean, they do put rubber on the track, but it also kind of wears that edge off of that new asphalt. So you lose that edge of grip that you had last time.
Well, Carl Edwards qualified 2nd for the race here in June. Qualified second in Indianapolis last Saturday. And let's see what it's going to be today here at Pocono.
Hey, crew chief, I'm seeing these cars starting to look like they're what I call dog tracking again down the straightaway.
Yeah, that was actually loose right there. That wasn't so much dog tracking, but carried a lot of speed off that corner. We are seeing that a lot more. Skew in the cars. We see it from the straightaway shots, kind of like this.
Yeah, you look at the 48 last week. He was way out. Come on.
He can't make
this is a big deal for us. You know, that'd be huge for our company needs a lot of momentum. I think this would be huge.
Hey, you got this one. He had a run at it through turn 1, but you can see the exit off of 1. He lost some speed, and then turn 2 really got slowed down.
And if you remember, the 20 did the last time here did the same thing. He was early out, and it really paid off for him.
Yep. Carl Edwards way down the list compared to what he tracked at early in the run. That's going to be in 16th position for the 99. And 2 cars to go.
This is worse than driving the car.
Well, we don't mean it to be. I mean, we all showered this morning, and
I know.
Oh, you mean just waiting it out?
Yeah, this is tough.
Well, in the car you have to control. You like
have control.
that. Here,
If you make it good, it's good. If you made a mistake, you go, it wasn't great. But
here you're hanging on every inch.
it's like, you're looking at the tracker and you're going, scratching the table.
That's fun. So 2 cars to go for Juan Pablo Montoya and his team to see if they can grab pole position here at Pocono for Sunday's Pennsylvania 400. Kyle Busch, then Jimmy Johnson.
Talked to Kyle yesterday. He was really happy with his race car.
In race trim, and he's been really, really quick.
He was good here in the first race. They had an engine problem, though.
Yep, and did not finish. Barely actually stopped a little shy of halfway in the race back in June.
His car looked pretty good off turn 3 to get up to speed lap.
But still, you notice every time I get about a half a tenth by the time we get.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
Turn 3 twice.
Just having that car a little bit tight allowed you to carry a little more speed through 3 and on the exit there.
Yeah, he was stable for really getting on the gas.
Yeah.
I think that really paid off.
I love just listening to
the sun's out, isn't it?
Shift.
Yeah.
And how.
You're good. Because nobody's going to beat you off turn 3.
I hope
They're
so,
not going to get you 10th.
Yeah, I'm not going to lose it. I agree with you. I don't think somebody can run the same, but
you're at least going to start on the front row.
That's huge.
Yeah.
I mean,
from where you've been, it really is. Oh, that's not putting anything down.
I'll do it. Last few weeks, we've been working extra hard. I've been going to the team every week. We've been looking at everything, really doing, going the extra mile, and we really need something, to cheer on.
Well, you found something. I mean, this wasn't just, hey, we tuned our car just a little bit.
No,
you found something.
We've been, I'll tell you, the one car is a little better than us in race trim. I felt that way. We started way off, and we made it better and better and better. But at the end, I felt he was a little bit quicker than us. But we know we're not there yet. I think we gained a ton on it. We got a bit of a direction where we need to go, but we'll see.
Turn 3's really being there. Kyle ended up 19th right there.
Yep. Yeah, it seems like track really. Kyle lost a lot of the tunnel. Out of the tunnel, he really felt like he couldn't really get back on the gas.
Look how the attitude of this car looks different than a lot of the cars. You see, it looks like he's down in the back more.
Yeah, just take
kind of like he looked at Indy.
Yeah, with long straights, you really want to keep the back of the car low, take drag out of the car, and
All right, here it is.
Let's see what happens.
The last lap of qualifying. And Jimmy Johnson is on the clock.
Didn't have him by much.
I know.
I still think that turn 3 is going to be the determining factor. I don't know. He
drove it in pretty hard.
There, yeah.
But look at him.
Yeah, he's got a good corner there.
Wow.
Come on.
Okay, he's going to make it interesting.
It's going to get big.
Turn 3 really interesting now.
Wait a minute.
Wow.
Wow, look at the run.
That's huge.
He makes it out.
If he doesn't,
It's coming back the other way.
Here we go.
You got a chance.
Man.
Down to the final corner.
No.
Not going to happen.
No.
You did it, buddy.
Oh my God, this is big. This is big for us. I mean, we played the strategy right. You know, everyone in the target team been doing a pretty amazing job.
Great job.
Congratulations. This is huge.
Yes, sir.
10th for Jimmy Johnson.
Thank you.
Juan Pablo Montoya with his 8th career pole, and as mentioned before, last pole at Richmond in April of 2011. You're going to lead the field of the green flag for Sunday.
Yes, sir.
Now you won the pole. You got a lot of other things you got to go do.
I know. Yeah, I got to do a lot of stuff now. Talk to the media and stuff, and it's pretty cool. This is huge for us. We really needed this.
Yeah, thanks for coming over.
No, thank you guys.
Thanks
really
for the time. We
it.
appreciate it. Congratulations. Juan Pablo Montoya and the Target Chevy going to be at the top of the board when this field rolls to the green for the Pennsylvania 400 on Sunday afternoon. We'll come back, look at the starting lineup for Sunday's race, and put a wrap on qualifying in just a minute. Look at this. Beautiful day for a cruise on Lake Harmony. After NASCAR Sprint Cup Series qualifying is wrapped up here at Pocono Raceway, the field set for Sunday's Pennsylvania 400. And a rather interesting twist to this qualifying session. Drivers that all qualified kind of early on in the session wound up at the top of the board. How about this run for Paul Menard?
It's an incredible run for this team. After having loosened a race car yesterday, radiator hose fell off and they hit the wall hard. They made a nice recovery to qualify third.
Yeah, Denny Hamlin ended up qualifying second, missing out by just 7/100ths of a second. Great racetrack for him, though. Look for him to be up there all day tomorrow.
And on pole position, spent the better part of the last, 40 minutes or so with us here in the pit studio, Juan Pablo Montoya, who used a couple of good runs through turn number 3. And a car that was maybe a little better suited to the conditions at the time than some of the others we saw slipping and sliding. To score pole position, he had to wait out a lot of drivers, and as each one ran, you got kind of a reaction like that. But a big moment for the Ganassi team, and Montoya celebrating his first pole in about a year and a third. He gets it today here at Pocono. Look at the starting lineup for Sunday's 400-miler here.
Interesting names up there. Marcus Ambrose and Kurt Busch there in row 3.
Yeah, a lot of good
solid runs.
A lot of good stories here. You see Kurt Busch, former winner here. He's starting up in the top 6, and he went out real early. He was third car on the track.
Earnhardt Jr., Jimmy Johnson, nose to tail. In the grid, they'll be in 8th and 10th starting positions.
Yeah, June's winner, Joey Logano, is going to be back in 14th spot.
And the man he raced for that win, Mark Martin, will be lined up just a couple of spots behind him.
Yeah, Carl Edwards and Kyle Busch, we expected to be further up, but they'll have to come from far back.
Some of the guys for whom conditions did not work out, conditions and their car's handling. Jeff Gordon, remember, scraped the wall ever so slightly with his Chevy. Brad Keselowski.
Yeah, he's got a lot of work to do, but he's got a crew chief that's not afraid to roll the dice to do whatever it takes to get that track position back.
And the final few. Only one to not qualify for the race, Stephen Light. He will be the driver who goes home without racing here in Pocono.